This winter, hundreds of older citizens will be victims of abuse. And it won't come from the streets, their friends, or their relatives. Instead, they'll find themselves victims of the cold. If you or someone you know needs financial help with heating bills, call the Energy Assistance Program, because the only thing we want to turn off this winter is the cold.
Here, at the Institutes for the Achievement of Human Potential, there's a gentle revolution going on. They know that babies learn more in their first 3 years than they do in the rest of their lives, and that mothers, yes, mothers, are the best teachers. I've seen mothers come here from all over the world to learn how to use those first 3 years to teach their babies joyously. Join the gentle revolution. For more information on how to teach your baby everything and anything, call 1-800-344-MOTHER.
Ride free, breathe easy. Channel 10 of the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission invite you to find out more about Transit Check. Call 1-800-872-7261. Save on your commuter trips. Channel 10 and you, partners in a caring community.
Over 10,000 women in Pennsylvania will learn they have breast cancer this year. I'm Ellen Casey. Many will survive because of early detection by a mammogram. Don't wait. Make your mammogram appointment today.
American Journal, now at 7, right here on Channel 10.
Good morning. This is CBS News Up to the Minute. I'm Troy Roberts.
And I'm Cheryl Atkinson. Here are the headlines this Wednesday morning. Federal officials looking at the California quake damage are getting a bird's eye view of things. A U-2 spy plane armed with cameras flew over the LA basin, taking pictures of fault lines and structural damage. So far, the quake is blamed for at least 40 deaths. President Clinton is traveling to the area today to survey the damage.
The White House is looking for a new nominee for the post of Defense Secretary. Retired Admiral Bobby Inman took himself out of the running yesterday. He cited a new era of McCarthyism and blamed his withdrawal on newspaper columnists and Republicans in Congress.
Special Prosecutor Lawrence Walsh terminated his Iran-Contra investigation after 6.5 years with slams at Presidents Reagan and Bush for allegedly covering up illegal acts. But Walsh says there's not enough evidence to prosecute either for breaking the law. Former President Reagan calls Walsh's final report a vehicle for baseless accusations that could never be proven in court.
And the cold wave that's sweeping across the central and eastern United States is breaking records from the Canadian border south to the Carolinas. In Minnesota, temperatures plummeted well below zero. Duluth hit a record minus 35 degrees with a wind chill of minus 90 degrees. The cold rode into the east behind a storm that iced coastal regions from the Carolinas up the eastern seaboard. And those are some of the top stories on CBS News Up to the Minute. The story of the Los Angeles earthquake is still unfolding even at this hour.
The latest on the cleanup and recovery efforts in Southern California. We join coverage of our CBS station there, KCBS, in their late newscast.
Epicenter in Northridge faced tonight. This house fire nearly out of control on the 18,000 block of Prairie in Northridge. The big problem, quake damage, has cut off water to many parts of the North and West San Fernando Valley. Firefighters trucked in water and finally did get a handle on the blaze early tonight.
Water is the main issue. We need to have adequate supply of water, and talking to the battalion chief who was first in, once he got the water on scene, all the extra, then things very quickly started to get better.
Good news here, the elderly couple who live inside this home did get out safely.
Of course, the picture burned in everyone's mind is that collapsed apartment building in Northridge. The people who live there are clamoring to get back in. They want to try to get their valuables out. But the building is so unsafe. The National Guard is posted with orders to keep everyone out.
The city inspector did say that it looks as if some of these buildings may come down in as little as a 2.0 aftershock. So we're adhering to our policy of not allowing anybody in until he gives us the say-so.
National Guard will remain posted at the building indefinitely. Could yesterday's deadly building collapse have been prevented? Investigative reporter Harvey Levin took a close look at that building and others that collapsed. Harvey joins us now with some disturbing conclusions. Harvey?
Well, Bree, up to now, the prevailing school of thought was that unreinforced brick buildings were the most dangerous in an earthquake. But it was a different type of building, one that you see everywhere in Southern California, that proved the deadliest yesterday.
In the blink of an eye, the Northridge Meadows apartments went from 3 stories to 2 with catastrophic consequences. Our Channel 2 investigation shows this building complied with all of the city's building codes. The compliance record makes the disaster all the more surprising to building and safety officials.
If there was a ground rupture, then you'd expect that type of thing, but in this case, there hasn't been identified one, so it is surprising that a 6.6 would bring down a wood frame building.
The city of Los Angeles demands special earthquake shoring, but only for unreinforced masonry structures. The deadly collapse occurred in a wood-framed stucco building, so the reinforcement law did not apply. Likewise, this wood-framed stucco building nearly lost an entire story during the first aftershock. And this recently built complex also lost its first floor during the first aftershock. Again, it's not unreinforced masonry, but rather wood-framed stucco.
The presumption then is that a wood-framed building can withstand an earthquake better than an unreinforced brick building.
That's correct, and you'll find that to be the case. Wood frame buildings...
But that wasn't the case here.
Generally speaking, wood frame buildings will do very, very well in an earthquake.
Does it surprise you that we found 3 that didn't, that lost a story?
It surprises me quite a bit, and I'd really be interested to see what happened in those individual cases.
Robert Patrick is a retired engineer and earthquake expert for Rand and other corporations. He says the real fault is a failure to take advantage of construction breakthroughs that make buildings safer.
That building was built with what they call a soft first story. That means that the building is stronger in floors 2nd and 3rd than it was in the first story. The easy way to demonstrate that is that those columns and the 1st and the 2nd floor form a box. And a box is not a geometric, stiff member. Boxes do this.
And they collapse when the force...
Go all the way over like that, and that's what happened to the building that's south of us.
How do you fix a situation like that?
They had taken every 4th parking place and put a diagonal brace across it and used it for storage. Then that building would have been rigid.
A building and safety official told me his department will take a close look at the collapse of the wood-framed buildings. He says if these buildings are not as safe as the department thought, new laws could be passed to require additional reinforcement.
Now, clearly, you can't put sliders under a lot of those buildings. You can't just start over to retrofit. But is there something that you can do, say, to the outside of the building or the inside of the building on those wood frames to make it better for the next one?
They really haven't considered the issue because the presumption all along has been that the wood frame are the safest and not the ones that they really have to focus on. And this earthquake may have changed the way they look at earthquakes and buildings.
What a wake-up call for all of us.
Oh, it is.
Harvey, thank you. The powerful earthquake is leaving thousands of people in the dark tonight. Right now, at least 55,000 customers, and we just had a small earth tremor here.
Yeah, we did.
55,000 customers still don't have electricity. We are feeling it. Let's go to the seismic cam right there.
Maybe that's a 5.
That's, we had first one jolt, then followed by another, and that is still being recorded there on the seismic cam.
Felt like a 5 to us, didn't it, here?
We will try to check with Caltech and find out exactly just how big that was. The areas affected by this power outage include Granada Hills, Chatsworth, and Northridge. Intermittent power outages have also been reported in parts of West L.A. and South Central Los Angeles. The Department of Water and Power hopes to have full electrical service restored by tomorrow night. In Granada Hills, residents are roughing it tonight with no water, gas, and electricity in some homes. It's pretty tough going. Pat LaLama found some folks trying to make the best of bad situations, though. She has this live report from Granada Hills. Pat.
Michael, you know that tremor that we just felt? These folks turned around and said to me, now you know why we are still sleeping outside. We've got the combination of 3 families here in Granada Hills because there are still 100,000 people without water, some without gas, and it's just really hard to deal with. They've combined their resources, and what they have is a propane stove. They have a television set, and of course they're watching Channel 2 News, and they have a barbecue, and it's all because of a generator, and they're not going inside. And we went around Granada Hills tonight and found that people in this area, people all over Los Angeles, wrote the book on survival. It was the oasis in the dark desert, One hamburger joint in the middle of earthquake-ravaged Granada Hills that simply couldn't flip enough burgers for the hungry locals.
This is the only place to go. No freezers, right? We got no freezers. We got no microwaves. So we knew we could.
It's the fast food diet, right?
That's right.
Around the block at the DWP plant, crews hustle to repair damage, but they wouldn't let us watch because of the danger factor. But down the road, a group of neighbors gathered together their resources and moral support. Weathering the storm like 100,000 other Angelinos, now experts at bouncing back from crisis. You've got, now let's see, you got TV, you had cooking. What else did you get to use with this generator?
Well, we're running 2 refrigerators with it and a microwave, and so everything, yeah.
It worked?
Yeah.
The house is a mess. We're a mess, but we're LA people, you know, just got to cope with it.
Well, let me tell you that according to the DWP, they still have about 50,000 without power. They say they probably will get all that restored, hopefully, depending on the weather, by tomorrow evening. And regarding water, there is an aqueduct and a filtration system out, completely out. That's 50% of our water supply. They're working round the clock, can't give us a guarantee at this point. Chuck, I want you to show them this flatbed right here. And we have all the folks out here. You going to stay out here tonight? Yeah. All right. Well, that's the way it is. I got to tell you, I'm still shaking myself. I might stay with them. I might not go indoors, Mike and Bree.
How did that last little joke feel to you, by the way, Pat? Was it a pretty good one there?
Yes. All of a sudden, I just went. It really was quite amazing, and it sounded like a sonic boom for a second.
Yeah.
We all have our nerves on edge.
Yeah, we got all these lights above us shaking pretty good.
Thank you, Pat Lalama, for that live report. More than 40,000 customers still don't have water tonight, too. And it's going to be several more hours before they do. Water supplies from this filtration plant in Sylmar were cut off when the earthquake split open a huge underground pipe. Crews are working round the clock, though, to repair that 10-foot high pipe. Officials hope to have water service back to normal by early tomorrow night.
So here's a quick rundown of the very latest as Los Angeles tries to settle into its second night after the quake. The death toll now stands at 40. At least 10 of those are from heart attacks during the quake, 16 from the apartment collapse in Northridge. More than 1,800 buildings were damaged or destroyed. The cost of rebuilding is now in the billions. 20,000 people are camping in city parks tonight, chased from their homes by quake damage or fears of another quake or big aftershock.
Obviously, the earthquake turns life topsy-turvy. Hundreds of people rush a water truck as they spend another night in limbo.
Plus, soldiers of misfortune. We'll show you how these troops are marching.
And coverage from our CBS station in Los Angeles with Michael Tuck and Bree Walker. We'll be back after this.
This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
News takes.
How about poor Fred Wilson? What a shame. So soon after retiring. I hear his wife needed help with the funeral expenses. Oh, that's ridiculous. He had Social Security.
When my brother died, his wife received a check from Social Security, all right, for $255. Oh. Funeral costs were more than $4,000.
Now, how on earth did she pay for it?
Fortunately, my brother bought some additional life insurance a few years before he retired.
I'll bet that cost a pretty penny, huh?
Not with Colonial Penn. Each unit costs just $6.95 a month. Less than 25 cents a day. I have it myself.
We both do.
Both of you?
That's right. Neither one of us had to answer any health questions or take a physical exam. In fact, no one our age can be turned down, regardless of health.
No one?
No.
Is this a plan that offers a lot of protection at first and then reduces it little by little each year?
No. I've had this coverage for years. My benefit never decreases.
Your rates go up every year, right?
No, not at all.
Friends, keep telling friends about whole life insurance from Colonial Penn. With this coverage, your premium never increases for any reason, and your benefit won't decrease simply because you grow older. If you're over 50, you cannot be turned down. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company specializes in protection for mature men and women. To find out more, call now.
Call toll-free 1-800-235-8000 for free information. And receive this handy guide to Social Security absolutely free. That's 1-800-235-8000.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
Call now for your free information and your free book. That's 1-800-235-8000. Call now. There's no obligation. 1-800-235-8000.
I'm Harry Smith in New York.
And I'm Paula Zahn at the scene of Southern California's devastating earthquake, where much rebuilding will be needed in order for this part of the state to get back on its feet.
We'll also talk with more of the victims and heroes who've lived through this awesome tragedy.
Coming up on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
After recession, riots, and an earthquake, what's happened to the California dream? Eye on America takes a look. Dan Rather reports from Los Angeles tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Watch CBS This Morning. It's breakfast for your head.
Now let's take a look at your up-to-the-minute weather. Snow flurries will make their way into western New York and much of the Midwest. Mainly dry on the west coast. The temperature map shows an Arctic air mass paralyzing much of our nation. Readings in the 30s stretch as far south as the central Gulf Coast.
Some are already saying this may be remembered as the record winter of '94. So bad are conditions in some places. We'll check 3 places around the country from the last 24 hours in this edition of the Up-to-the-Minute News Map. Not surprisingly, one extreme was in northern Minnesota. It was the level of the mercury in the thermometer. In Duluth, the National Weather Service put the official low temperature at minus 34 degrees. The wind chill made it feel like minus 90. Temperatures were even lower in outlying areas. And record cold recorded across much of Wisconsin. In Madison, temperatures plummeted below the sub-zero point, touching minus 27 degrees. Schools were closed yesterday, and what few businesses that were opened late. And if you were walking in Memphis yesterday, you might have had a hard time. That Arctic blast left its mark in the city of blues, turning it white with a dusting of snow. Snow accumulations added up to an inch in some spots, more in other areas. Today's forecast for Tennessee remains cold. Temperatures are expected to top out in the mid-20s.
Have a duck caught on the edge of the ice in some open water.
In Sioux Falls, if you didn't keep moving, you might just have ended up frozen in your tracks. That's what happened to this duck. 2 firefighters came to the rescue, making their way out onto the ice. They handed the duck over to the Humane Society, where it is resting comfortably this morning. Major League Baseball owners, in a rare unanimous agreement, voted for a revenue-sharing plan last night in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Players Union must accept a salary cap before the plan can take effect. Donald Fair, head of the Players Union, wasn't happy that the players weren't included in negotiations on the revenue-sharing plan and said the owners must now prove a salary cap is necessary to protect baseball's economic future. Agents have said the players would be willing to strike over the issue of a salary cap if necessary. Now here's your up-to-the-minute scoreboard.
Remember me? I'm the fellow that told you to use your blow dryer to soothe an earache. That was just one of the hundreds of special doctor-tested home remedies from one of the most famous and useful books we ever put together, Until Now. This is the brand new Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2. Hi, I'm Bill Gottlieb, Editor-in-Chief. And believe me, if you want even more of the most effective home healing techniques from even more of the best doctors, covering even more health problems and conditions, then call for the Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2 right now. You'll get so many practical remedies, all from top health experts. Like if you get a paper cut, heal it with super glue. Or to remove your ring from a swollen finger, use dental floss. And to make age spots disappear, try lemons. From relieving pizza burn on the roof of your mouth to popping out a splinter without using a needle. It's all here in the new Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2.
The Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2. Over 600 pages, 1,800 home healing remedies from 700 doctors and health experts.
There's so much that's new in the Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2. Like how eating nuts can help end migraines. How taking cough syrup can increase your fertility. Even why using a dark tablecloth can actually help you lose weight.
Call now for the new Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2. Try it absolutely free for 21 days. Then if you wish to keep it, pay in just 4 easy installments of only $6.99.
And as a free gift, you'll get this special book, Anti-Aging Nutrients, about the foods and nutrients that can help you reverse the effects of aging.
Remember, you can try the Doctor's Book of Home Remedies 2 free for 21 days.
By the way, try a wet tea bag for sore gums. Or to relieve heel spurs, wear cowboy boots. If you get a leg cramp,
call now 1-800-638-5700. That's 1-800-638-5700.
This morning's edition of America's Asking include animal testing, college graduates, and a special bird.
CBS News answers your questions on America's Asking. Hello again, I'm Ernie Anastas. Our first question today is about the controversial issue of animal testing.
Hi, my name's Sasha. I'm from Texas, and I'm just wondering, is animal testing banned anywhere in the United States?
Animal testing is not banned at the federal or the state level anywhere in the United States. Animals are used in tests of new drugs for humans, the harmful effects of cosmetics, and to learn some of the dangers of household products. Recent attempts to ban cosmetic testing in California have failed, despite an intensified lobbying effort by animal rights activists. Supporters of the humane use of animals in research believe that scientists will be hampered in their efforts to learn more about AIDS, cancers, and Alzheimer's. Say, do you remember how old you were when you graduated from college? As you'll see in the answer now to our next question, the times, they are changing.
Okay. I'm Patricia Lake from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and I was wondering what the average age is of a college graduate today.
On the day they don cap and gown, the average age of a college graduate, we're told, is a little more than 22 years old. Andrew Roth, Dean of Enrollment at Mercyhurst College in Pennsylvania, tells us that college grads have been getting older since the late 70s. The biggest reason? Women returning to college or going to school for the first time following a major change in their lives, like the loss of a job, divorce, or having a baby. Our next question is from a caller to our phone line who is a dedicated bird watcher.
Todd Barnes, Grants Pass, Oregon. I'm Larry Bird's biggest fan, and I want to know what he's been up to since he retired basketball.
A bad back forced Larry Bird to retire in the summer of 1992. Last February, with the help of his wife,